Hi, Mr. Castellanos. Are you able to hear me okay?
Yes, Your Honor, I am.
All right, I'll go ahead and do our initial DNA and fingerprint advisement. We'll go ahead and bring in our interpreter member.
Okay.
All right, good morning. I'm Commissioner Procco. This is the 8 a.m. initial appearance calendar for January 27, 2025.
Muy buenos días, yo soy la comisionada Parco. Este es el calendario de comparecencia inicial de las 8 de la mañana para el 27 de enero del 2025.
The court's orders for the taking of DNA and fingerprints that were given on the first calendar of this month shall apply to all matters on this calendar.
Las órdenes judiciales que se emitieron en el calendario del primero del mes de este año para la comparecencia inicial para la toma de huellas digitales y muestras de ADN van a aplicar a todas las audiencias de hoy.
When you hear your name, please step up to the podium that's in the center of the courtroom.
Cuando escuchen su nombre, por favor, pasen al centro de la sala, al podio.
At the end of your hearing, you will be receiving some paperwork, and that will cover everything we go over in here. So that'll include your next court dates as well as your release conditions.
Al final de su audiencia, usted va a recibir un papeleo que va a cubrir todo de lo que vamos a hablar el día de hoy, incluyendo las fechas de sus próximas audiencias judiciales y sus medidas cautelares.
For those of you who will be out of custody prior to your next court date, I do recommend contacting the court in advance of that date so you can verify your hearing details.
Para todos aquellos que van a estar en libertad antes de su próxima audiencia judicial, les recomiendo que se pongan en contacto con el tribunal antes de su próxima audiencia para verificar los detalles.
And please keep in mind that you do have the right to remain silent. Everything you say in the courtroom is being recorded, both audio and video, and could be used in a future court proceeding.
Por favor, tengan en mente que tienen el derecho a guardar silencio. Todo lo que están diciendo aquí se estará grabando por audio y video y puede ser utilizado en una audiencia en el futuro.
We're going to begin with Felix Arias Diaz. Sir, if you could step in the courtroom.
Vamos a iniciar con Félix Arias Díaz. Señor, por favor, si pasa a la sala.
Buenos días.
Good morning.
All right, and Mr. Castellanos, I'll let you go ahead and do your appearance and we'll begin.
Yes, Your Honor. David Castellanos from the Office of the Court Interpreter.
Thank you. And Mr. Arias, if you could state your full name and date of birth, sir.
Señor Arias, me dice su nombre completo y su fecha de nacimiento, señor.
Félix Leonel Irías Díaz, 1998.
Felix Leonel Arias Díaz, 1998.
All right, thank you, sir. You are here for a new case out of Superior Court. It is alleging one count of unlawful flight from law enforcement, which is a Class 5 felony.
Bien, se lo agradezco, señor. Usted se encuentra aquí debido a un caso nuevo del Tribunal Superior. La pretensión es un punto acusatorio de evasión ilícita del orden público, un delito mayor de clase 5.
The Public Defender's Office has been appointed to represent you in this matter. You currently have 2 court dates that will take place at the Superior Court located in downtown Phoenix.
Se ha nombrado a la oficina de abogados de oficio para que un abogado le represente. Usted tiene 2 audiencias judiciales próximas que van a ser en el Tribunal Superior en downtown de Phoenix.
And those are a status conference February 3rd and a preliminary hearing February 5th, both at 8:30.
Y estas audiencias judiciales son una consulta de actualización el día 3 de febrero y una audiencia preliminar el día 5 de febrero. Ambas son a las 8:30.
In this matter, given the nature of the offense that you did attempt to flee from law enforcement in this matter, you do have a bond, which is a $750 secured appearance bond.
Para este caso, debido al carácter de la acusación, que es de evadir ilícitamente al orden público, en este caso se va a fijar una fianza de caución real de $750.
Do you have any questions regarding the information that I just went over?
¿Alguna pregunta sobre la información que acabo de repasar?
No. Si yo pago la fianza, no salgo en libertad hoy, no.
If I do post the bond, will I be set free today or no?
If you're able to post bond today, then you would be released from custody unless you have any other holds. I'm not aware of any.
Si usted deposita la fianza hoy mismo, Hoy mismo usted será puesto en libertad, al menos de que haya alguna retención por alguna otra razón. Yo no estoy consciente de que haya alguna otra retención.
¿Cuál sería la otra retención? Dígame.
What would be the other hold? I'm sorry.
If you have another offense pending in another court, if you have a federal hold from a different jurisdiction, so there's all sorts of different holds that you can have in jail. You can ask the officers to see if a hold is showing up in your paperwork.
Sería si usted ha cometido otro ilícito, hay algún otro caso pendiente en algún otro juzgado o algún otro tribunal, si hay alguna retención por parte de las autoridades federales en otra competencia territorial. Puede haber muchas razones por la cual uno puede tener una retención. Usted le puede preguntar a los agentes si en el papeleo de usted aparece si usted tiene una retención.
Es que le explico, como yo soy inmigrante, ayer me tomaron mis huellas digitales, entonces al momento de quizás salir, pagar la fianza para salir libre, me puedan llevar migración.
I wanted to explain, it's just that I'm an immigrant and they did take my fingerprints, and I'm worried that if I post bond, once I do get set free, immigration comes and picks me up.
That is something that could occur, but it is not something that this court has any control over, nor do I know what they'll be doing in your case, because that's completely separate from this matter.
Eso es algo que podría ocurrir, pero esta jueza no tiene ningún control sobre esas cosas, ni es algo que sabemos que va a suceder o no en el caso de usted.
Okay. ¿Y para pagar este dinero, dónde sería?
How can I post the bond?
Ask the officers in the back. They'll be able to let you know how that process works.
Pregúntele a los agentes de atrás. Ellos le van a poder explicar cómo funciona ese proceso.
Okay.
All right, if you want to go and step over to your left, you can go ahead and have a seat at this time. Thank you, sir.
Voy a pasar hacia su izquierda y tome un asiento, señor. Gracias.
And can you just check to see if there's anyone else here who does need the assistance of an interpreter? That's the only one I have marked.
Yes, Your Honor. ¿Se encuentra alguien más en la sala que requiera asistencia de un intérprete de la lengua español? Si pueden levantar la mano, el que necesita asistencia de un intérprete.
No hands? All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate your assistance today.
My pleasure, Your Honor. Have a nice day.
Thank you. All right, so we've got Edwin Pierre. Nanaba Hoingo will be up next. All right, you do not look like Mr. Pierre. All right, looks like we skipped two. All right, Hoingo. All right, go and state your full name and date of birth. Hey, please state your full name and date of birth.
83103.
All right, you are here for a warrant that was issued out of the Navajo County Superior Court. So this is for a probation warrant that was issued out of that court. So in this matter, they were notified that you were arrested on the warrant, did indicate that this was still a valid warrant that they would extradite on. You currently have an arraignment hearing set January 29 at 8:30. That's going to be at the Navajo County Superior Court. You'll get the address provided in your paperwork. So in this matter, it is a violation of probation warrant. It is also a non-bailable warrant as a result of that. All right, that's pursuant to Rule 7.2 and 27.7 of the Arizona Rules of Criminal Procedure. So at this time, you are going to be held in custody, which means they do need to come to transport you out there in order to attend your court date, okay? Do you have any questions regarding that information?
No.
All right, if you want to go and step over, you can go ahead and pick up that paperwork so you can have a seat. All right, so do we have Mr. Pierre? And then after that, I have Alkins, Sebrian. Hi, Mr. Pierre. Go and state your full name and date of birth.
Edwin Anthony Pierre. Your Honor, I have medical issues that I've had to be going back to the hospital, and they said they would have to hold me for like 10 days.
All right, that's an issue that you can discuss with the jail. They do have health services here, so they'll be able to address any medical needs that you have. But at this point, I do need your date of birth.
It's A1681.
All right, thank you. You've got two separate cases here today. The first one is a new case out of Superior Court, which does allege one count of possession of dangerous drugs, which is a Class 4 felony. In this matter, I did receive a DR, or incident report. This is from the County Attorney's Office, who did provide this from Phoenix PD. This was reviewed for probable cause purposes only, and probable cause was established in your matter. The Public Defender's Office has been appointed to represent you. You currently have 3 court dates that are set. That's going to be a status conference January 31 at 8:30 a.m., evidentiary hearing February 3rd at 1:30 p.m., and a preliminary hearing February 5th at 8:30. Those are all going to be at the Superior Court in downtown Phoenix. In this matter, because you are on felony release in the other case that we have here today, you are required pursuant to Arizona law to be held without bond at this time. That means you are not eligible for release on the new charge that just came in. So that is why we set the evidentiary hearing. That's on February 3rd. That's the court date that we set in order to allow the court to review those specific release conditions. So your next case that we have here is going to be the bench warrant that was issued in your open felony matter. That case is now set for a status conference January 30 at 8:30 a.m. The bond in that warrant's been affirmed. That one has a $2,500 secured appearance bond. You'll get paperwork for both of these matters. Looks like you already have it there. It's going to have all the information that I just went through. Do you have any questions regarding either of these 2 cases?
Yeah, I was already out on bond. I was out on bond already. Okay. The judge, she had something that she had to take care of, so she went out of town for a week, and my court date was set on a holiday.
All right, you are more than welcome to address that with the next judge that you go in front of and speak with your attorney about any issues there. But your primary hold is the new case that came in. Because you came in on a new charge while being on felony release, you're non-bondable either way.
Yeah, I know.
Any additional questions?
That's fine.
All right, if you want to go ahead and step over, you can go and pick up that paperwork and have a seat. All right, so we have Mr. Cibrian, and Shane Yazzie will be up after that. All right, sir, your full name and date of birth?
King Cibrian, March 2nd, 1991.
All right, thank you. So you've got 2 separate cases here today. The first one is a new case that'll be out of Superior Court here in Maricopa County. The charges that have been submitted are 1 count of possession of narcotic drugs for sale, 1 count of possession of dangerous drugs for sale, both Class 2 felonies, 1 count of possession of a weapon during a drug offense, and 1 count of possession of a weapon by a prohibited person, a Class 4 felony, 1 count of possession of narcotic drugs, 1 count of possession of dangerous drugs, Class 4 felony, 1 count of possession of drug paraphernalia, 1 count of possession of prescription drugs for sale, both Class 6 felonies, 1 count of prescription drug possession, a Class 1 misdemeanor, 1 count of failing to admit to carrying a weapon, a Class 1 misdemeanor. So in this matter, the Public Defender's Office has been appointed. You do currently have a status conference set on February 3rd. Preliminary hearing February 5th, both at 8:30. That'll be at the Superior Court in downtown Phoenix. I did receive a written recommendation from the state in your matter requesting a $75,000 cash-only appearance bond. I'll let you know that given your history, because you're on probation for basically the same type of charge, that I did believe that was reasonable, but I did read your probation notes. I do understand you are currently in compliance with probation. It appears as though you've done fairly well, since I don't see any revocations in the last 3 years in your probation matter. So it's only in recognition of that I am going lower, but you do still have a significant bond given the nature of the matter that you're here for. That's a $50,000 secured appearance bond. Since that is secured, you are able to work with a bail bonding company to post that amount. So your probation matter is also on the calendar today because they've issued a Term 1 violation. So in that matter, public defender's been appointed as well. You have a revocation arraignment hearing February 3rd at 8:30. That'll be at the Superior Court in downtown Phoenix. In that matter, I also did take into account that you've otherwise been in compliance, so I did lower that bond down to a $250 secured appearance bond. So if you do postpone and are released from custody, you are still on supervised probation. You do still need to abide by those terms. That does include contacting probation within 72 hours. Do you have any questions for me at this time?
No, ma'am.
All right, sir, if you want to go ahead and step over, you can go ahead and pick up that paperwork so you can have a seat. Thank you. All right, we have Shane Yazzie and Alfonso Medieval will be up next. Or Mendival, I guess I should have said. All right, sir, your full name and date of birth?
Shane G. Yazzie, Date of birth is March 4th, 1991.
All right, sir. You are here for a new case out of the Maricopa County Superior Court. The charges that have come in are 1 count of burglary in the 2nd degree. That is a Class 3 felony. And then you have 7 counts of disorderly conduct, Class 1 misdemeanor, 1 count of resisting arrest. That's a Class 6 felony. So in this matter, the Public Defender's Office has been appointed here to represent you. You do currently have a status conference set on February 3rd with the preliminary hearing February 5th. Those are both at 8:30 a.m. Those will take place at the Superior Court in downtown Phoenix. Based on the nature of the charges you're here for, which is considered a domestic violence offense in nature, you do have a bond. That is a $5,000 secured appearance bond, and if you post that bond, you would be released subject to the supervision of pretrial services with electronic monitoring to be added prior to your release. That is being put in place because you do have orders here that you are not to return to the scene of the offense. You cannot go back to that residence. You are not to have any contact with any alleged victim, complainant, or witness. You are not to possess any weapons while on release. If there is an order of protection issued, you must obey all terms of that order. I'll also caution you that a violation of a no victim contact order and a criminal release order, which is what you have at this point, could constitute aggravated harassment, which is a Class 6 felony. If you come in on a new felony offense while being on felony release, you would be held without bond at that point. Do you have any questions regarding this?
No.
All right, if you want to go and step over, you go and pick up that paperwork. Everything should be in there for you. All right, Mr. Mendible, and then we've got Frank Huerta will be up after that. All right, sir, your full name and date of birth.
Alfonso Acosta Mendivil, date of birth 11/25.
All right, sir, you've got 2 separate cases here today. It looks like both of these are here for warrants that were issued. The first matter is a warrant that was issued in your probation case. This is for your failure to appear at your revocation arraignment hearing. That hearing is now set on February 3rd at 8:30, and that'll be still at the Superior Court in downtown Phoenix, the same location. The bond in your warrant's been affirmed. That's going to be a $1,000 secured appearance bond. You still have the same term that if you do get released from custody after posting bond, you do need to contact probation within 72 hours. The other matter we have here is that open felony case that you have. So in that matter, another bench warrant was issued. That's for your failure to appear at your status conference in that case. So your court dates now are going to be a status conference February 3rd, preliminary hearing February 5th, both at 8:30, again, still at the Superior Court downtown Phoenix. And in this matter, the bond in that warrant's been affirmed. That's a $2,500 secured appearance bond. Do you have any questions regarding either of these 2 cases that I've just gone over? All right, everything should be included in that paperwork there. If you want to go and step over to your left, you can go ahead and have a seat at this time. Thank you, sir. All right, we have Mr. Huerta, and then Ryan Camp will be up after that. All right, sir, your full name and date of birth.
Frank Anthony Huerta, 41573.
All right, thank you, sir. So you are here for a bench warrant that was issued for failure to appear in your open felony matter. In that matter, your court dates are now a status conference February 3rd, preliminary hearing February 5th, both at 8:30. That'll be at the Superior Court in downtown Phoenix. Looks like I gave you a big chance given your failure to appear history. When I released you last time you were here, apparently that was a mistake. So this time you do have a bond. I've affirmed the bond in the warrant. That was a $500 secured appearance bond.
Okay.
You'll get that information here in a moment, but do you have any questions regarding it?
Ma'am, I got the flu real bad. Is what happened why I didn't show up in court. One of my roommates is even hospitalized right now. So I'm just saying, I'm not trying to give you an excuse. I'm just letting you know what happened. I got the flu real bad and I had a fever, so I couldn't make it down there.
You can certainly speak with your attorney about that.
Okay.
All right. I'm not telling you what you're saying isn't true, but given your failure to appear
That's fine.
history, you do have a bond today.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
All right. So we have Ryan Camp and then Anton Yablonsky will be up next. All right, sir, your full name and date of birth.
Ryan Camp, October 19, 1977.
All right, sir. You've got 5 separate cases here today. I'll go ahead and start with your probation matters. There are 4 of those. So in each of your probation cases, they are here for a petition to revoke that was filed back in November alleging a violation of terms 3 and 5 of your probation terms. The public defender has been appointed in all matters. You do currently have a revocation arraignment hearing February 3rd at 8:30. That'll be at the Superior Court in downtown Phoenix. The bond in each of those warrants has been affirmed. They all have different bond amounts. The first one is a $750 bond. Second is $2,500. The third is $250. The fourth is $100. All of those are secured appearance bonds, and if you do get released from custody, you do need to contact probation within 72 hours because you are still currently on supervised probation. So your next case that we have here, this is going to be the family court warrant that was issued. So this is a warrant that was issued by the family court judge in your matter for a failure to pay child support. So in that matter, they're going to be setting a hearing for you. That's going to be a status conference January 31 at 10 a.m. Whether or not you post the cash purge that I'm about to go over here and get released from custody, you do need to attend this court date. In other words, if you do postpone and you are released from custody, you do need to still go in for that January 31 court date, or another warrant could issue at that time. So the cash purge amount is the amount that you must pay in cash in order to be released in custody. In your matter, your family court judge did set a cash purge amount in the amount of $90. Under Arizona law, I cannot reduce the amount of the cash purge that I've just told you about. However, I am required under Arizona law to ask you the following questions, which you can answer, but you don't have to. Is there anything you want the court to know about your present ability to pay the cash purge? And is there anything you want the court to know about being held in custody until the cash purge is paid?
No.
All right, sir, if you want to step over, we'll get you paperwork for each matter. It'll have all that information in it. Thank you. All right, Mr. Yablonsky, and then Dimitri Polium will be up next.
What about now? Can you guys hear me
All right,
now?
sir, want to state your full name and date of birth?
All right, gracias.
Yes, Antonio Blonsky, 09/27/1984.
All right, thank you. So you are also here on a family court warrant that was issued. This was issued by your family court judge
Yes, ma'am.
for a child support arrest warrant. So the judge in this matter did set a cash purge, in this case, in the amount of $10,000. Now, the cash purge is the amount that you must pay in cash in order to be released in this matter. So whether you pay it or not, in other words, whether you get released or not, either way, I am setting a status conference in this case that you would need to attend. So that's going to be on January 31 at 10 a.m. That would be at the Superior Court in downtown Phoenix.
Okay.
Now, under Arizona law, I cannot reduce the amount of the cash purge I just told you about, the $10,000. However, I am required to ask you the following questions, which you can answer, but you do not have to. Is there anything you want the court to know about your present ability to pay the cash purge? And is there anything you want the court to know about being held in custody until the cash purge is paid?
Yes, it makes it extremely difficult to pay the cash purge payment, being that I'm in custody. Thank you. I have a few clients lined up for next week. My business has suffered tremendously over the last year, and it just seems so I just don't understand. I just don't understand, being locked up. And I mean, I do understand, obviously, but what I'm saying is, I literally can't work from here.
It looks like you've been on warrant status for 4 months.
Yes.
Like I said, under Arizona law, I cannot reduce the amount of the cash purge. So in this amount, that amount does have to be affirmed. So you do have a $10,000 cash purge amount that would have to be posted prior to release.
Okay.
Any other questions regarding this?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, Mr. Pulliam, and then Mark Canna will be up next.
Hey, she pretty much told them you had 4 months to get your money straight. You messed up. You blew it. Now you're staying in custody. Good luck, amigo. See you next time. Not my problem. Not today.
All right, sir. Full name and date of birth?
Demetrius Pulliam, 12286.
All right, thank you, sir. You're here for a new case out of Superior Court. The charges that have come in are 1 count of criminal damage, a Class 5 felony, 1 count of assault, and 1 count of disorderly conduct. Those are Class 1 misdemeanors. In this matter, the Public Defender's Office has been appointed. You do currently have a status conference set on February 11 with a preliminary hearing February 13, both at 8:30. Those are going to be at the Superior Court in downtown Phoenix. Based on the review of your history, I'm going to follow the PSA recommendation in this matter. You are being released today, but it's going to be subject to the supervision of pretrial services. You are going to have electronic monitoring installed prior to your release from this facility. That is being put in place because you do have orders here that you are not to have any contact with the alleged victim or any complainant or witness in this matter. You are not to return to the scene of the offense. You are not to possess any weapons while on release. You must find an alternate residence and provide proof of that residence to pretrial services, and you must obey the terms of any order of protection issued. Since you are being asked to provide an alternative residence, I did put language in your release order that does address a civil standby. A civil standby is what you can do in order to collect any personal items that you have that are necessary from the residence. So by doing that, you contact local law enforcement and schedule it through them. That's the only way you can go back in person. So I will let you know that a violation of a no victim contact order and a criminal release order could constitute aggravated harassment. That is a Class 6 felony. Do you have any questions regarding any of this information?
Can I break it down? Can I
try
get
this.
release, no contact with it, and then before I release, I gotta get on the monitor
Correct.
and have a different address.
Correct.
Okay.
And all of this will be in your paperwork. Everything I just went through is in there.
So when I get released, I had to call someone to get the monitor, or?
They'll let you know.
Okay.
Yep, they'll walk you through the process.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Go and step over. You can pick up that paperwork so you can have a seat. Martinez and then Victoria. Johnson Moore is up after that.
Next. Let's see. Got time for this today. It's Monday.
All right, sir. Go and state
My
your phone name and
weekend's
date of
over.
birth.
Mark Conyers, 122185.
You are here for a new case out of Superior Court. It is alleging 1 count of possession of a dangerous drug, a Class 4 felony, 1 count of possession of a weapon by a prohibited person, Class 4 felony. The Public Defender's Office has been appointed. You currently have a status conference set on February 11 with the preliminary hearing February 13, both at 8:30. Those will take place at the Superior Court in downtown Phoenix. In this matter, I am going to be following the PSA recommendation here. You are being released, but it is subject to the supervision of pretrial services. You have the additional orders that you are not to have any contact with any witness or complainant in this matter. You are also not to possess any weapons, which was already the case for you. Do you have any questions regarding anything that I just went through?
No.
All right, go and step over to your left. You can pick up that paperwork and have a seat. Victoria Johnson Moore and then Matthew Flores will be up after that.
It's Monday. I'm not happy, and everybody's going to jail. All you gonna get some cases. Nobody's gonna go home. I don't want to hear about your puppies, your wives, and your kids, and about your job.
Hi, ma'am. Go and state your full name and date of birth.
62894, Victoria Jasmine Johnson.
All right, you are here for a new case out of Superior Court. The charge is 1 count of criminal trespass in the first degree, which is a Class 6 felony. So in this matter, you have the Public Defender's Office appointed to represent you. Status conference is currently set on February 11 with the preliminary hearings February 13, both at 8:30, and those will be at the Superior Court in downtown Phoenix. I am going to be following the PSA recommendation with respect to your supervision level. You are being released today, but it is going to be subject to the supervision of pretrial services. You're going to get some paperwork about that process in your paperwork that you're about to receive. You get an envelope with that. It does have their contact information in it because you do have to stay checked into pretrial services while you're on release. You also have orders here that you are not to return to the scene of the offense. You are not to have any contact with any alleged victim, complainant, or witness in this matter. Do you have any questions regarding that?
No, ma'am.
All right, if you want to go and step over, you can go and pick up that paperwork. Thank you.
Hey,
All right,
I'll tell you
Matthew
this
Flores,
much.
Alan Estrada will be up after that.
I'd rather have this judge than the one from yesterday. That dude was just a mess. He was definitely a Timo judge. It's all
All right,
bad.
sir, your full name and date of birth.
Matthew Armando Flores, April 23rd, 1990.
All right, so you were here for 2 separate cases. I'll start with the new matter that just came in. This is for a new case that'll be out of Superior Court. The charges are 1 count of possession of narcotic drugs, a Class 4 felony, 1 count of possession of drug paraphernalia, that's actually a Class 6 felony. Now, in this matter, the Public Defender's Office has been appointed. Status conference set February 11, preliminary hearing February 13, both at 8:30. Those will be at the Superior Court in downtown Phoenix. Okay. It's only because you have maintained at least contact with your probation officer that I'm going to be releasing you today.
Thank you, ma'am.
I'm by no means saying that you are in compliance with probation since you have not completed treatment yet.
Okay,
which is certainly
I'm going to do that
the charge you're
soon.
here for. So I'm doing this only to stress the importance of complying with probation
Thank
from
you,
here
ma'am.
on out now that you have a new case. So you do need to contact probation within 72 hours of your release, and you do otherwise need to comply with all terms.
Thank you.
So your next case here is your probation matter. It's been added to the calendar because you now have a Term 1 violation, so it's the new offense. That's what triggered it. So in that matter, public defender's been appointed as well. Revocation arraignment hearing set February 3rd at 8:30, and in that matter, you have the same release conditions. You are being released subject to the supervision of your probation officer.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any questions regarding that?
No, Your Honor.
All right, go and step over and go and pick up that paperwork
Your
over there. We have
Honor.
Alan Estrada. Antonio Turan will be up next.
Stumbling around. Yeah, so that guy that I'm talking about, it wasn't the guy with the mustache. It
All
was
right, sir,
another
your full name
guy.
and date of birth.
Hello, Your Honor. Alan Estrada, 05-26-2004.
All right, thank you. You are here for a new case out of the Agua Fria Justice Court. The charge is 1 count of criminal speed. That is a Class 3 misdemeanor. You are not entitled to court-appointed counsel in this matter due to the nature of the charge. Since it is a misdemeanor offense, it does not otherwise qualify, but you do, of course, have the right to retain an attorney on your own behalf to represent you in this case. An arraignment hearing is set for February 12th at 10:30 a.m. That's going to be at the Agua Fria Justice Court. You'll get the address in your paperwork. In this matter, you are being released today on your own recognizance. It is going to be your promise to appear at all future court dates. Any questions regarding that?
Not at all, Honor.
All right,
You said, it's going to be on the paperwork. I
It
know
will be
that.
on the paperwork, yes.
Oh, okay.
Everything I went through will.
Okay, thank you
Okay.
so much. Thank you
All
so
right,
much,
if you want to
Your
go
Honor.
ahead and step over, you can go and pick that up. We've got Antonio Turan, and it looks like he is the last person in the courtroom at least to be seen.
The last one? What's up?
All right, sir, your full name and date of birth.
Is it 8?
Antonio Turan, 12 86.
All right, thank you, sir. You are here for a new case out of Superior Court. The charge that was submitted is one count of aggravated DUI, which is a Class 4 felony. I was not able to find probable cause on the charge that was submitted here today. That does not necessarily mean this case is going away, but I was not provided with sufficient information to support the way it was booked in here, okay? So in this matter, I am still appointing counsel to represent you. That would be through the Public Defender's Office. I do still need to set some hearings. That's going to be a status conference February 11 with a preliminary hearing February 13, both at 8:30 at the Superior Court in downtown Phoenix.
Okay.
Because I did not find probable cause on the only count submitted here, I cannot set any release conditions, so you are being released without any conditions being imposed. Okay? So I'm just going to give you a heads up. I would recommend contacting the court in advance of that February 11th date to verify those hearing details to see if it is still on the calendar.
Okay.
If it is there and that hearing does go forward and you do fail to appear, that a warrant could issue for your arrest that day. Okay?
Okay.
Any questions regarding that?
No, ma'am.
All right, sir, if you want to go ahead and step over, you want to pick up that paperwork. All right, I'll go ahead and go through the house calls that we have here. Looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. I'll start with Nicole Wallace, date of birth 9/7/63. Do you know why Ms. Wallace was a house call?
She's combative and free.
All right, so she's here for two separate matters. They're both warrants issued out of the Peoria Municipal Court. In both cases, an arraignment hearing is set February 18 at 9 a.m. at the Peoria Municipal Court. These are the first warrants issued in each of these matters. Given the nature of the charge, she is being released on her own recognizance with the same terms, so she is not to return to the scene. Tracy Douglas, date of birth 6/13/1967. I show him as Nazwa, is that correct?
Nazwa injured herself.
All right, so he's here for two separate matters. The first one's a new case out of Superior Court. Charges are one count of possession of drug paraphernalia, Class 6 felony, one count of prescription-only drug possession, Class 1 misdemeanor, one count of criminal trespass in the third degree, that's a Class 3 misdemeanor. Those are the counts I was able to find probable cause on. There are additional counts that I did not find probable cause on. That's one count of possession of narcotic drugs and one count of obstruction. The Legal Defender's Office has been appointed in this matter. Status conference set January 31 at 8:30, evidentiary hearing February 3rd at 1:30, preliminary hearing February 5th at 8:30. I do show he's on felony release in the other matter we have here today. So as a result, he is currently being held without bond in the new case. Next case is his open felony matter. In that case, there is a bench warrant that was issued for failure to appear back in June. Status conference now set February 5th at 8:30. And in that case, there is a cash-only appearance bond in the amount of $1,000. Otherwise, the rest of his release conditions do remain the same. We've got Trey Avizo, date of birth 9/17/2001.
She hit a speed bump there.
Looks like I have him showing as an escape risk.
Trey Avisa, is this a John Doe? Okay. Yeah, combative.
Okay, but he was identified as Trey Avizo?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so he's here for a new case out of Superior Court that is alleging one count of attempted robbery, a Class 5 felony. The public defender has been appointed. Status conference set February 3rd at 8:30 a.m. Preliminary hearing February 5th at 8:30 at the downtown Phoenix Superior Court. The bond in this matter is a $15,000 secured appearance bond with orders not to have any contact with any alleged victim, complainant, witness, not to possess any weapons while on release. Next case that we have is for Richard Williams, date of birth 11/28/1980. I show him as combative as well.
Yes, combative and free.
All right, thank you. So he's got two separate matters here today. I'll start with the new case out of Superior Court, which is alleging one count of resisting arrest, a Class 6 felony. That is the count I was able to find probable cause on. There is an additional count for tampering with physical evidence that I was not able to find probable cause on. Public defender has been appointed. Status conference set February 3rd, preliminary hearing February 5th, both at 8:30. And in this matter, there is a $2,500 secured appearance bond with the additional orders not to have any contact with any alleged victim, complainant, or witness. Next case that we have here is going to be for Richard Williams, who's here on a warrant that was issued out of the South Mountain Justice Court. His date of birth is 11/28/1980. I don't know if I said that. Oh yeah, this is the same guy. All right, so he is here for a post-adjudication warrant issued in this matter. Public defender has been appointed since he does have a bond in this case as required pursuant to Rule 6.1. Arraignment hearing set on January 30 at 8:30. The bond in this matter is a $50 secured appearance bond. Lambert Quay, date of birth 11/13/2004, also combative.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, he's here for a new case out of Superior Court alleging one count of robbery, Class 4 felony, one count of organized retail theft, Class 4 felony, one count of aggravated assault, Class 5 felony, and one count of aggravated assault on the officer. That's actually also a Class 5 felony. It's incorrectly put in here as 6. Public Defender's Office has been appointed. Status conference set February 3rd, preliminary hearing February 5th, both at 8:30. And in this matter, there is a $10,000 secured appearance bond with the additional orders he is not to return to the scene of any offense, not to have any contact with any alleged victim, complainant, or witness, not to possess any weapons. All right, I show that is now everybody, so I'm going to go ahead and turn off the recorder.
All right, guys. So right now, the next court doesn't start until another 24 minutes. So what I'm going to do is we got some board of parole hearings in Connecticut